I'm going to read some of the questions that came to us, and then we will go ahead to do that. The very first question that came went like this: is defining roles and responsibilities a bad practice? That is, defining roles and responsibilities within the family a bad practice. Can it bring friction in the family? Defining roles and responsibilities a bad practice. Can it bring friction in the family? So, Achi, would you want to start?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah. Looking at that question, it's a question that I wish the person that asked it can come online, because it's not very definite what the person means by that question. But if I want to take it from the roles of the way we define it culturally, because it's really cultural definition of roles that we have in the home right now. So if you're going to talk about, oh, okay, this person, you're cooking, oh, and this person, you're doing school runs, I don't know whether that is what it means. Somebody might also be asking questions like, in talking about roles, talking about financial roles, where he's saying, I've heard somebody say, you take care of feeding, I take care of capital projects. And then you start asking which one is capital project and which one is on capital project. But so if we are talking about roles in terms of financial roles, it will take us into talking about money matters really in the family. So I want to take it from that angle, assuming that is the question. Now, the question is, can it bring conflicts? Yes, if you don't talk about it properly. I know of families where you hear things like, you're in charge of the rent, I'm in charge of the school fees. And what I usually ask is, what if the person that is in charge of rent doesn't have money at that particular time? Does it mean that we'll go to court?
The whole family will be kicked out.
Or we'll go to the court to arbitrate, to an arbitration panel. Or if I'm in charge of school fees and I don't have funds, then you say, oh, the school fees of the children are going to suffer. What works in a home might not work in another home. But I'm going to talk about general principles of finance in a home. And what we say is that money should not have a name in any family. I think that each time, if there are singles that are coming into the forum, before you ever go and take the marriage vow, take time to look at the implication of the vows. We try to do that in my church now, where you keep the couple down and make them read the marriage vow while their eyes are open to know whether they want to go into that committed relationship.
Yeah.
If you're going into a committed marital relationship, it goes with your all. And that all is all. And that includes finances. And so the finances that come into a home belong to the home. And the finances that come into a home should address issues in the home, whether it is school fees or rent. And the thing is that when God blesses a home, he can bless a home financially at a given time through the man of the house. Sometimes he might pump in finances through the woman of the house.
Sure.
Yes. So if we learn that money does not have a name, and you see, coming to this understanding takes time.
Yeah.
It takes rubbing of minds. It takes two of you coming, having discussions over time, right from courtship time, so that you don't attach names to monies. Because God can look at the man or the woman, depending on what the person is doing, and decide to bless this home and pour in finances. If God is pouring finances through you as one of the partners, you don't start looking at it as, oh, okay, it's now my own.
Yeah.
So when they don't identify money as mine, yours, then it's easy to take care of financial roles in the home. Because as the finances are coming, they are sorting out issues in the family. So
it's possible.
So it's possible to do that. It's possible. Well, that's how it works in my own home. Money does not have a name.
Yeah.
And it has worked so perfectly for us. That's why I said what works in a family may not work in the other one. But I know families also who kind of demarcate and say, oh, you take care of this, I take care of this. It might work for them. But I just want us to have at the back of our mind that when we are defining such things, we shouldn't make it hard and fast. Or as if, if this person cannot meet up, then there's a war. That's when it becomes, a bad thing. And then it will bring conflicts.
Yeah.
I don't know.
For those who are joining us, today is the last Friday of the month, and last Fridays are days of question and answers. And today is also the last Friday of the season 1 of Zoom Talks. So once today ends, season 1 of Zoom Talks ends, and we are going to replan again and be able to inform us. Meanwhile, what we said is that while we roll out or plan to roll out season 2, we want all persons that have participated here to go straight ahead to implement the things that we discussed. I know many of us may not have been regular on each of those, but the ones you were able to pick are the ones you can also get from our blog, familycolorsblog.blogspot.com. You can get to that place and pick those things. The beauty of this is in the implementation. So today we are handling the questions and answers. And the first question is defining roles and responsibility a bad practice? Can it bring friction in the family? That's what she was just dealing with. And she said that, yes, it is good to define roles and responsibility. It's not a bad practice, but it should be done well. It should be done with consensus, and it should be done in a way that it doesn't hurt the family. For example, if you say somebody is going to take care of that, she now moved into financial definitions. If you are going to say that this person should take care of rent and this person will take care of school fees, and then the person that is to take care of the rent doesn't have money for the rent, doesn't mean that the whole family will be pushed out. And then again, she went in to give us a good standard, which is that money should not have should not have names in families. It is possible to achieve it. And she also alluded to the fact that it is not easy. It's not something you just decree or gazette it and it comes on. But discussions and removal of distrusts, suspicion, and over time, remember that we all came from different families, different backgrounds, and all that. And our parents handled money in different ways. The man and the woman had parents that are male and female on both sides, and they handled money in different ways. And what we are saying is that when you saw them handling the money, it's possible for you to catch a glimpse of what you want to do, and then along the line, you now formulate your own and use it to enter into your own family, and it becomes a problem. But somehow, the gold standard seems to be, but it may not work in several families, but what you are saying is that use what works in your family that takes everybody into consideration. But what we are saying is that money should not have a name. Because if money has a name, it means that when God can supply through that's one important thing she noted. God can supply to a family through, let me just use Lambert's name. If Lambert is married, God can supply money through Lambert or through the wife. And he wants to supply Okoro's family, so he can supply through Lambert or through the wife. And if they are blocking themselves and Lambert now says, my money, it means that the wife and the children will not have benefit of what we're talking about. Or if the wife is individualistic, it means that the Lambert and the other children will not have that. So let's target at seeing how we can push towards money not having a name in our family. I can see that Ndoka's hand is up. So let me give him a little chance to say something. Ndoka.
Thank you so much, sir. Very useful topic, especially when it comes to family of these days. There's something people say, there's a common saying now, when the man brings money in the house, it is our money, but when it comes from a woman, it is my money. That is just by the way. I have a special scenario which I want to see. I think I want us to discuss it here.
Okay.
A good example of what happens in my family.
Okay.
Recently, I decided to have a joint account with my wife. Two of us are saving a trade account, and then I pushed some of our savings into that account. So the idea is for us to control how money goes out from that family. But sometimes I think it becomes a little bit problem, because I may like to take money from that account for some pressing needs. And I need to explain and explain and explain before I get approval of my wife to sign her own part of the signature to get the money. So it looks as if she is the one controlling the fund, because I allowed us to have a joint account. So sometimes it delays what I want to do, and sometimes I don't even get what I deserve or what I need. The truth of the matter is that actually I like some of those controls, but it looks like it's becoming a little bit difficult for me, and I'm thinking of I'm thinking of stopping funding that account. What do you think I should do?
Okay, thank you so much. One of the questions that we got was a question that was hinged on what Reno Omokri. I'm sure if you are on Twitter, you know Reno Omokri. Reno Omokri tweeted something. So somebody that asked a question picked that and also sent it to us as a asking a question. What you are saying is something that is can happen. And it's good that you brought it out so that we can discuss all around it and see ways to be able to make it work for you. What you stepped out to do is something that is good. But let me also tell you, and also the other people who are listening, that these things are not easy, but it's something that you keep working on, you keep adjusting, you keep working on it. Don't be discouraged, because two of you are two different people. And God put you there so as to help yourselves. The woman, the Bible says, is a helpmate. In fact, one of my friends said that, he was talking, I think it was a discussion on this joint account. He said that, now when you had joint account with the wife, that, the alert was coming to the wife. So the problem he has is that whenever he withdraws, once he gives somebody money like that, you get a phone call. Where are you? Where are you? And then, he begins to ask questions. But let me say it like this. I think that if you step up to go and do a joint account, you should be able to put some benchmarks in place before starting it off. This is how we are going to run it. This is how we are going to be withdrawing. This is how we are going to be saving. This is how we are going to, help ourselves. Because it's also not good that you are running a joint account and you are backward and it's not working for you, and you are you are suffering it. Your projects are not getting done. Let me also say that you need to give yourself, within the benchmarks you are setting up at the beginning, you need to give yourself some latitudes, what they call a little space. There are some spaces that are allowed for two of you to be able to operate, like what somebody can, do without letting the other person know, and then how things withdrawals can be made and all that. If you don't put that space, you find yourself as if two of you are in chain, and you won't be able to operate. But this is a sweet thing. It's a beautiful thing. I think, look, I think you should.
Okay, to start with.
Let her give some.
To start with, I want to know, apart from the joint account, do you have a personal account?
Yes, I run a corporate account. I also run my own personal account.
Okay.
Good.
That's okay. I just wanted to be sure of that, because what we encourage ourselves to do is have a personal account. We are all adults.
Yeah.
Have a personal account. We should give each other latitude, like my husband was talking about. I shouldn't want to buy a head tie and have to sign a communique, where if I need to take permission, that kind of extended kind of monitoring, or that you're going along the road and you saw a tie that you wanted to buy, and you need to communicate, you need to call an executive meeting. No. So now we have personal accounts, but then we have joint accounts, and that joint account, they should be benchmarks. There should be a reason. Sometimes it's a savings account most times, and you're saving towards projects, including school fees. The truth is that if you agree on that and you're doing it, women tend to be kind of have a lot of control. I say it to the positive, but it can also sound like the negative. In other words, we are going to build up this saving account for children's school fees or a project. If you go towards that account, a woman is likely going to not want you to decimate the account. Where I see it as negative is if the woman easily wants to go to that account and then she's putting a check on you going, then it becomes like a selfish thing. But if she also is not going there, you see that it's a kind of protection that she's trying to do for you. Because if it's in my language, they'll say that women are Odoziako. You will say Oliako. I don't agree. In my place, we say Odoziako. They actually can help you to build up finances. So you might be that kind of person that one person will just ask, a relation will just ask, oh, I need 200,000 to blah, 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 blah. And you're already off because you know that you have saved up that kind of money. You want to take it out.
Madam,
and your wife might be the kind of person that is a bit conservative and doesn't want you to go.
Yeah, even to take my own money for the purpose of going to give a family. In fact, I said I will explain and write it in details. But like you said, some level of controls. That money is for savings. So sometimes my own personal account might not be heavy to carry what the project I want to do, what I want to do. So I will say, okay, let us go and take some money. He said, no. Instead, that thing wait, because that money is.
I think we should have a conversation.
Yes,
really.
Yeah.
I think that is it. If have a conversation about it, so that you can have some latitude.
Yes,
because it will be okay for you to start feeling. Yes. Don't stop the joint
Don't
account.
stop it. Do you know the beauty of this thing is that what you lack within you, is within your wife. What she lacks within her is in you. And it is this joint account or joint accounting that can help. The other aspect of joint account is joint accounting, where, yes, you may not have a specific account where two of you are signatories. You have your monies within your own bank and she has hers. But when you are spending, you are accountable to one another. That's the one that is called joint accounting. And that one, if you cannot run a joint account, it's also going to be difficult for you, because it talks about accountability. That, again, there is a benchmark that needs to be put, even in joint accounting. Like she said, it's not that when I just want to buy a tie or something like that, I have to sign a communique or joint statement of partnership for me. So there has to be that latitude. That conversation has to take place. But it's a beautiful thing. And believe me, it is something that walks you towards money. Not if you practice it for a while, it gives a strength for you to move towards the aspect of money not having a name. The things that people do with money nowadays, because money is coming in through their side, is so challenging, so interesting. I have gone to a meeting where a man told me, listen, that I don't know this thing you are talking about, joint accounting or joint account. I don't know what you are saying, no, because my wife is a reductist. That's how it is a reductist, that any amount of money, she will reduce it in no time. So I said, okay, so what is the problem? Yeah, that's why he doesn't have any joint account or joint accounting, because immediately the wife knows that the money is there, he will just finish it. So I now said, okay, so what are you currently doing now? No, she keeps her own, I keep my own. I said, so that's how, because I have a lot of money, I have corporate things I'm doing, I have this, and so she keeps her own, I keep my own. So I said, okay, so if God brings a lot of money your way, you keep it like that. They say, if I want, I can give her something small. So I said, okay, let us use a scenario that I know that has happened. A woman that was a teacher, and she was just teaching, and the husband was a contractor. And then after, and the husband said, no, that this woman is a reductress. We're not going to do joint account nor joint accounting. You should stay on your own, I stay on my own. Then after some time, the government appointed the woman a cabinet minister. And the man said,
real life story.
It's a real life story. So I now asked, would you want to do a joint account or joint accounting at that time? He started laughing. I said, that is what we are saying. See yourself as the steward for the family. When God brings in from your side, be a good steward, so that when God brings in from the other side, you expect that person to be a good steward. But the step you have taken, and look, is a real good one. You know, but don't be discouraged with all the checks and all those. All you need to do is a conversation. And when you have that conversation, you put benchmarks. It enables you to smoothen in, and you keep smoothing it while you push towards having money, not answer a name in the family. Okay, I think we will.
Maybe I'll use this opportunity to to also speak to the women.
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember the time we wanted to open a joint account when we were very young. And the banker kept looking at me. And until when he lost my attention and I was far away, he called my husband close and said, why are you saying either of you can sign? Because that account was supposed to be either of us can sign. Why? And my husband was a bit confused. Well, he was trying to give him a secret that don't let her be able to sign, because she can sign out your own money. So my husband started laughing and said, if she signs it out, that's okay by me. And he went, thank God he didn't tell me this conversation while we were in the bank. I would have gone to the banker.
I didn't tell her until we left.
Well, we're on our way out. He said, do you know what that young man told me? He was advising me against, and sometimes you see these things happen in real life where men are a bit scared of women in terms of money. And it pains me as a person, So there are two things I want to bring out here. Don't over monitor your spouse who is an adult, whether it's male or female anyway, in terms of certain, having certain latitude to be able to do certain financial things.
Yeah.
We should be able to allow each other certain latitude as adults. But then we should be accountable to one another where finances are. I think that's just the conclusion of it, especially major spendings. Don't surprise one another. Those surprises are usually negative surprises eventually. Oh, I decided to buy that plot of land, and I said I'll surprise him, I'll surprise her. What if, there's nobody that has the power of life and death except God himself? What if you're no more? Who is going to be the surpriser? Will be either the agent who is in charge of that land or that property. You wouldn't have done any surprise to your wife or to your husband anymore. So let's be accountable to each other financially. It pays off at any time, at any stage in our lives.
And most importantly, discussions, conversations, benchmarks, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a continuous discussion, but it's a beautiful thing. And it's something that once you cool down, take a deep breath, and then, you allow that difference, the beauty of differences, to play a tune for two of you. In music, why we enjoy music is because the tunes are different. And when they play, together, it forms music and we enjoy it. So let the differences between the man and the woman play that tune and enjoy it. Enjoy it. And I'm sure it's going to be a beautiful one. So I'm going to read out the next question.
Sorry, I let me interrupt you a bit.
Okay.
There's a contribution to this discussion where somebody said that some partners are so strict and difficult that no matter how you open up to them about everything, including your finances, they are never ready to support you. This is probably because of sometimes they have some kind of orientation that it is the responsibility of the man to provide for the family. Please, what do you do as a man in this case? Okay, I think this is actually linked to the question that you're about to read out. So we'll handle the two at the same time, Moni.
Okay. Okay, so let me, sorry, let me admit some people. Okay. Now, the next question is this, says, Reno Omokri wrote, Reno Omokri was a presidential, I think was President Jonathan's advisor. And he says, Reno Omokri wrote, "Dear husband," this is what he tweeted, either yesterday or a few days ago, I don't know. "Dear husband, your money is meant for you, your wife, and your children to spend. But your wife's money is not meant for you to spend. Don't even think of it. Pretend it doesn't exist. Never eye her money. Leave it for her and the children. Make your own money. Men who put their eyes on their wife's money hardly progress. It is against nature and good judgment. Yes, two shall become one. But you are the head of the family. A head is designed to carry weight and not just to lord it about. Carry the weight." And he said, this post was shared by Reno Omokri. And my question is the woman's earning not equally for her husband? I have seen many young ladies say that their money is theirs and their husbands don't have the right to touch it. Is that correct?
Wow.
So maybe you can now join it with that other edition that you read.
Okay, I know some people just joined us. I think we talked about it at the beginning without even getting into this particular question. I want to say that I don't agree with Reno Omokri. When I heard this question or what he wrote, I tended to understand why he wrote that way. In other words, the man is the head of the home. The man should be like the arrowhead of a home financially. And that's why when we were talking about premarital counseling, we said you don't have to be a millionaire to get married, but you must have a skill that brings you money or a job that brings you money.
Yeah.
And that too, you should have an accommodation of your own, whether it is one room. So you're not living in your parents' house or your uncle's house. You have a room or a room apartment that you can call your own. And then you have an earning. That earning does not have to be 10 billion, but it is an earning because you're bringing in a woman and you want to start a family. So you find out that that basic requirement for a man who is the person who is going to go out to look for a wife and marry is very important. Having a kind of financial source at a level of stability, not being rich or having a fat bank account, but something that you can call a source or a skill that brings in money. Now, having said that, let's go back to the very beginning, where in the garden, we talked about the garden and the creation. We said that God looked at Adam and something was missing. And he said, I'm going to get him a helpmeet, a help that is adequate for him. Now, that help is a help, and a help is a help. A help, whether it is financial help, spiritual help, psychological help, it's a help. So you cannot say that a woman is coming in to be a helpmeet and that help is without her finances. I think that is heresy. So we come into the marital union as helpmeets, and that helpmeet extends to finances. And the Lord recognizes it, and he blesses our finances, whether as a woman or a man. Yes, the man is the arrowhead. And I think what Reno is trying to say is that you should, have a vision as a man and struggle to take care of your family financially. But that doesn't mean that a woman's money belongs to her. No, you are a helpmeet. If you're not going to help somebody financially, I don't know how much of all the other help there is. So we are psychological help, we are physical helps, but we are also financial help as women. Yes, we are economic help. But there's something my husband says. He says that a helper is a helper, not the arrowhead. And what does that mean? Especially what I see in some recent times, I hear young men say, I'm looking for a woman who has money, who earns this. It means that there's a particular thing you're looking for. And so you're setting a target that this is where my money is going to come from. That's a wrong thing again.
Yeah.
That's a wrong perception. So the woman's money belongs to the home. The man's money belongs to the home.
Yeah.
The money should not have my name attached to it. But that doesn't mean now that the man should look at it like, okay, I'm marrying this woman so that she will bring in money. And so you start targeting that money. And there are even some people that will tell you, I don't need to work. because my wife, the woman I want to marry, is a top banker in such. I think that's what Reynold Omokri must be referring to. That is very wrong. A helper is a helper, and is not the load carrier. There are some times that a woman enters a home, is as if the financial load has been handed to her to carry. That is when, you start seeing bitterness coming in. It's like, were you waiting for me to come and carry this load? Am I a helper? Or am I the yes. So I think that is there needs to be a balance in that discussion. But I totally disagree with him in that principle.
Balance is needed. Balance is totally needed in this. Let me.
Somebody is asking a question. I don't know.
Okay.
Dr. Oko, Doctor.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. I was trying to come up with the network. I came up now, and I have some family also with me, who right now they are just young in marriage, and they are having a little bit shaky. So I tried to step into it. So this meeting came at the right time. So I'm right here with them. So I want you also to put light into everything so that they also can be able to grab from it.
Okay. That's
about 2 years in relationship. So the heat of marriage test begin to hit them, and they are trying to, say the other side away and all that. So I step into it, and then this meeting comes. So I want you to also start with them, and then if they may ask questions, also they may also throw the question to you. Thank you, sir.
Do they have any question now?
Along the way, I've just come to them now. We just started the meeting with you now.
Okay, fine. That's all right. So you're welcome, and let's keep going. And just note that. Okay, you want to say something? Yes, go ahead.
No, finish what you're saying. I just want you to know that I have something to say. Okay.
No, I just want to summarily say that there is need for a balancing act from the side of the man. Your orientation is that the woman, the wife, is the helpmate. And from the side of the woman, they're balancing that she is actually a helpmate. And nobody should carry the load of the other person and put on the other person. But most importantly, what we are saying is that as couples begin to work, as they begin to work together, let them have this knowledge that the name of your family, I used Lambert Okoro's family. The name of the family is Lambert Okoro's family. That God may decide to bless Lambert Okoro's family through Lambert. At another time, God may decide to bless Lambert Okoro's family through the wife. It happens all the time. People who are married will know that this is the truth. And it will be simplistic for anybody to feel that, I'm the man of the house. It's always me that God will be blessing. You never see something. God can change his times and seasons and begin to bless your wife. So if you get yourselves working together, get a good system that works together, it will help everybody. Nobody should say that my money belongs to me. Work towards money not having any name. That's what we are saying. But for those who say, I married this woman because of the money she had, we are saying, no, you need to change your orientation. I've also heard people who say, what's this usual statement? Look, come and sit down. Let's define these things. I will be handling the capital projects, while you, my wife, you will be taking care of the feeding of the house, the paying of the rent, the buying of clothes. By the time they finish calculating all of this, you'll be wondering what is the capital project again. So it is important that in defining that kind of thing, the two people sit down together and agree by consensus, not by forcing. And then at the end of it, they'll also give that kind of latitude benchmark that will make it that if one of you doesn't have that money, that the other person, of course, will pay that money. So it's important for us to truly accept to work together like this so that God can see. Remember, Psalm 133 says, you know, that when brethren dwell together in unity, that brethren, when husbands and wife dwell together in unity, there the Lord commands his blessing. God looks around for people that are working together in unity, and that is where he commands his blessing. So, Chi, you wanted to say something?
Okay, you know, even if this is where we dwell today, it would have been a good dwelling. Let me take it a bit backwards to premarital times, because I always step backwards. At the time of courtship is a good time to discuss money matters.
Yes.
There are people, that's the time to know what what's the other, apart from assets, what's the liabilities?
Liabilities, yeah.
Yes. Somebody might be coming from a background where he is the only source of finance and he's training his younger ones.
And he's number one in the family.
And he's number one in that family. It's a sincere time to speak to, you know, your mate about it. There's no hiding of it.
Yes.
I'm the one. Yes, this new family that you're forming should be a primary family. You're not supposed to carry the entire village along. But you should be able to talk about those financial commitments during courtship. It makes it easier down the line. For some people, it's not even the man, it's also the woman. It might be the woman that, is paying the younger sisters or the younger brother's school fees.
Yeah.
Nobody else is doing it. During that time of courtship, it's also a good time to talk about it. You know, this is my sister is in 200 level. I'm the one paying the school fees, is graduating in the next 2 years. Let's talk. If we share these things and talk about them at the beginning, then somebody can walk away. Oh, I don't want to be involved with this. Then you walk away, then you say goodbye to that person. Let him walk away or let her walk away.
Yeah.
But sometimes we don't discuss these things. During courtship, we just do Mr. Biggs and do I love you, I love you. You're not talking down to the nitty-gritties. You don't discuss financial matters. Then by the time we get into the marriage, we start stumbling. So if you share these things at the beginning and know a level of commitment that you have to your home, know that as you're going into this home, you're actually detaching from your family of origin to an extent.
Yes.
But then there may be commitments and we should understand them, you know, and encourage one another towards meeting those commitments. So, you know, when you now come into the marriage and you're running the marriage, one of the things that causes problems is when one partner believes that it is in his own home or her own home that all the problems are. So everything you want to give mama money, you want to give your elder brother, you want to give your younger brother, you forget that your partner has any form of mother, father, or siblings.
Yeah.
Those are the things that, you know, but when we consider one another and actually have a love relationship, part of that love is I'll also want to know what is going on with my partner. Yes. What are the burdens that I need to be part of? Not that I'm just thinking about myself, me, myself, and I. That will never move us forward in the marital relationship. And that is where what, Oni, you were talking about, where, let me say, a partner feels really cheated financially. It's like every time I don't have much, because of it, if I tell you now that, oh, my mom is sick, excuse me, please, your mom is not my business. Or, oh, my sister is asking for 10,000 to complete school fees. Please, 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 I don't want to hear. When you keep doing that to a partner, and then the story changes, and the Lord starts blessing the other partner, What is your expectation? So sometimes it is what the foundation we laid that we are seeing playing back at us.
Yeah.
And when that starts happening, honestly, you need to sit down and have a conversation and forgive one another for what you have done. Because sometimes some of us really commit financial offenses against our spouses.
Yeah.
And then the finance rain starts coming. Sometimes it's the woman, no. Maybe she's so, she has a lot of funds, and you're so, I don't want to use the word bitchy, against your husband, and then suddenly doors open for him. And then you want to expect that,
you'll
now buy you a brand new car and do this. The human part of him will want to retaliate, or the human part of her, even though we don't encourage that. So please, I need us to think deep and have a consideration for one another where finances are concerned, and know that the finances are for our home and for one another. And I shouldn't have it, and my partner is starved of funds because he or she doesn't have an earning power.
Most importantly, let's note that our actions will evoke reactions. Whatever you do can evoke positive or negative reaction, whatever you do. So why don't you do it well with consideration for the other person? Because there is a God that is above two of you, and he's watching. He's the one that one day, the Bible really calls him that he changes times and seasons. He can change times and seasons for you people. And his interest is for your advantage. But if you have built a system that is self-defeating by the reaction you gave to your partner when you had money, when things were okay for you, and then God decided to bring it through that partner you maltreated, how are you going to take it? Are you going to say such a wicked man or such a wicked woman? But I know that sometimes these things happen. And if it happened in your own case, I think the best thing you need to do is actually to draw back and repent about it and begin to treat your spouse. I know, even when we are watching, sometimes some people watch with their wives and all that. And if that has happened in your own case, I think it's time to truly, retrace your steps, apologize to that person, and begin to plan a new day. Because surely, in a little time, God will visit your family, and he can visit through any person, any side. And for those who are not married, she talked about it. Don't be covered with emotions. Emotions, oh, I love you, and all those, you are just floating in air. You need to sit down during your courtship when you found the man or the woman. You need to talk to yourselves. You need to plan ahead. You need to know what you want to do. And when you get
and know his baggage and her baggage.
And know his baggage and her baggage. This is one thing that many people forget. People have baggages. And we are not saying once the person has a baggage, just throw the person under the bus and run away.
No. Discuss
know
it.
what it is. Look at it. Discuss it. Know how to get across with it. Okay, I will allow Margaret, whose hand is up, to say something. Before we now continue. Margaret? Hello? Hello? Margaret? Okay, maybe she's not here. Okay.
Her network.
Are you speaking? Okay, maybe the network is bad. Okay. Are you able to speak? Okay.
Can you hear me, sir?
We can hear you. Can
you hear me? We can hear you now.
We can hear you now. So go ahead.
Okay. Good evening. Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma. Thank you so much for this topic again. Again, this is a very relevant topic in marriage, and money is very important in marriage, and the cause is also the cause of many problems and divorce. It also normally breeds a lot of bitterness if it is not well treated. You know, yes. So it's really very, 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 very important, and it's also very good, a good thing to actually counsel couples on when they're about getting married, so that they will know their expectations. I don't know if you also like. I want to request for you to you and Dr. Chi to also advise on how finance should be managed in the marriage, especially maybe when it comes to joint accounts and all that. Is it good to have a joint account, and how should this be managed? Because like I had a lot of trouble, a lot of problems with that when we got married. I was quite naive, and my husband insisted like, oh, we should have a joint account, but it didn't go well because I felt, yes, my money was coming in, but I wasn't in control on how the money was being spent, and it actually made me, I mean, it caused a lot of trouble until this was finally sorted out. I noticed that a lot of ministers, and I see that they actually operate separate accounts. So I want us to advise on how this should be handled. Secondly, money should not be the determinant of who you marry. But unfortunately, this is what most men and women are looking out for today. People are looking for wealthy women or wealthy men to get married. I remember years back when we got married, that wasn't really the issue. But these days, you want people who like, oh, make sure that you don't want to go and carry anybody, from any family. Or make sure the woman, does she have a job? Is she a banker like Dr. Chi? It's a many men these days, they actually before they marry to death. It's really very true. I even had a man of God who was even. I mean, no, she was saying that some guys that are looking for bankers. People who have money before they decide on who to get married to, and actually that is what is happening these days. Like I overheard even a man was going to a particular lady before, and he had to warn her that he doesn't know the family obligations she has, that he should better go and marry somebody else who has resources, whose father is quite rich. And that was what the guy eventually did. So he keeps posting to me that, oh, you can see now the girl's father is taking care of this and taking care of that. That if you are just, this is not actually the way to go. You see, your wife may not be rich today, or her family may not be rich today, but things may change tomorrow, and that is what has happened. Like a family that I know, the lady didn't really have much and all that, and the guy kept talking about, oh, his other friends who married rich, this and that. And after several years, this lady, most of the money the man made today, it was through the lady. You understand? Yeah. God used her, and his finances changed completely. So your wife or your husband may not be rich today, may not have it today, but if it's God that has led you to get married to this person, go ahead. Things may change, and most times it changes tomorrow. Right. So it shouldn't be the determinant. And fourthly, I would like to also say that most times in marriage, especially in Nigerian culture, they feel that the woman's money belongs to the man and his family. Like in my culture, they actually believe that it is a taboo for a woman to send money to her family, and that it could even lead to her death, which is really very horrible. And that's what happens. So you find out that a man, and some parents have trained their children, and they've grown, and they need help. They are struggling, and the daughter cannot even send money to her parents. And they feel that, yes, so as Christians, we should actually acknowledge that the woman's parents trained their daughter and deserve to be taken care of. Okay. Please, couples should attend to the needs of their wife's parents, especially. Yeah, because I have a sister-in-law whose parents, they are missionaries, and they actually trained her very well and all that, but they're having some financial issues right now. So I even go almost every month. I send something to her mother because I know my brother was having some financial challenges. I remember, I said, this woman trained her daughter to the university and all that. She's old and all that. So I don't call her the other day. I said, please make sure mommy and daddy always have food in their house. Let's make sure we buy food items and drop. That if they need mazina, they should let me know. I'm ready to contribute, because I just feel I'm also a mother, and I can imagine after training my children and they grow up, and tomorrow I don't have the resources, and my daughter can't even help, or nobody can help because they feel the woman belongs to the man's family and all that. So that should also be addressed. Both parents, not only the ladies' parents, the guys' parents too should be, we should, apart from, we should attend to their needs. I think it's really very, very key.
Okay.
Thank you so
my
much.
contribution for now.
You
Thank
know,
you.
there was something she said about culture.
Yeah.
We need to separate our culture from the culture of Zion, from the God's culture.
Yeah.
I think I didn't know that there's a culture like that, but maybe I want to extrapolate that culture to mean that the lady cannot send things to her parents, but her husband can send things to her parents.
Yeah.
So it comes down to the same thing where I was saying that we should be sensitive to each other's needs.
Yes.
Because if you look at it, that woman didn't fall from heaven. So that man should be sensitive to the needs that are around the lady, even if there was any such culture. You understand? So I think it's really, you ended up really repeating most of the things we are saying, that we need to be sensitive to each other's needs right from the beginning, and then discussing it and attending to it. It's not a function of do me, I do you. I want to take us a little bit back to what you said about looking for who is wealthy. I think it's foolishness, because if it is in my place, they'll say that wealth. I had an uncle whose name they used to call Otorunipo. That is when the thing is there in bulk.
In heaps.
In heap. And he'll answer you, that when it is in a heap, it's as if it will never finish. Then you will say it will finish. Why? He used to be very rich. Very, very rich before the war. Yeah. And then after the war, he was a pauper. Yeah. And the people that were paupers became very rich.
Yeah.
That's the world. You can't look at somebody and judge finance. If I'm a lady, if you're married, marry a man of vision. A man that knows where he's going. He might not have anything in his pockets today, but down the line, I'm not sure Dangote's father was a wealthy man. I don't know. I don't know his background. So somebody can be something out of nowhere, but there is a vision. So why would you be looking at what is on ground at the moment? What if that thing goes?
Yeah.
So I think it's foolishness, really. So we shouldn't be looking at the finances that the person has at the moment, but the, should I say, the possibilities that are ahead of the person. And then going into that relationship by faith and bringing in your own contribution to it, your skills, can set that family on high. There are some people that became very rich, not because they inherited any property, but because they had one diligent woman that was in a background, not with money, but with her wisdom, pushing the man until he became wealthy. So those are the realities of life. It's only in movies that you have all those, make-believe things about funds, and we should be wise about them.
I also think that part of, I won't introduce any other question, because I just realized that some people came in late, so I'm going to recast a little bit on what we had talked about, which is what Margaret was requesting. Tete, are you saying something?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Actually, the couples are with here. The wife wants to ask a question, and the issue was that he has a pet name called the husband, and the husband doesn't have any pet name calling her. But in our present, he see the husband or hear the husband say to maybe friends like ladies, call them some of their pet name, and then he used to feel bad. So it has been causing problem. What can she do?
Okay, you know, this falls out a little bit from the question that we're answering, but there was a question that somebody asked, which I'm preventing myself from reading, that actually looks at this particular thing.
Okay.
Yes, the fact that somebody, okay, I'm going to mute you so that we can make attempt at answering it. You know, the fact of that the lady has a pet name for the man, but the man doesn't have a pet name for her. But that same man who doesn't have a pet name for her has a pet name for all the others. And I mean, it can be very painful. And I think that it's also a discussion that, you know, she needs to raise, because sometimes it could be things, nurture. We are all, you know, we all have a grammage of our parents' life in us. A gram, every one of us, every son has a gram of the father. Every daughter has a gram of the mother. And when they are watching their parents living, maybe their parents, we are calling themselves by Mama Ndoka or Papa Ndoka. And do you know that Ndoka will live with them all through and grow up? It will take a lot of energy for Ndoka not to call the wife Mama somebody. Why? Because he has been nurtured into knowing that the way to call your wife is the mother of your children. So that could be one of the problems that the man may be having. But he's also, again, doing that. He's calling other people by their pet names because they are not related to him. It could be something he wants to do, but he didn't see that thing in the light of the family. So I think that is a discussion she needs to bring up, because it's something that is worrying her. And she is talking about it. She is using that pet name on him, and he doesn't use it. If the man is listening to us, of course, that should be a priority for him. Because, you know, when you call somebody by a pet name, you are softening that person. You are pouring, that you are softening that person. And interestingly, the people that use pet names most are people who want to deceive us. They are people of easy virtue, women of easy virtue, or men of easy virtue. These people that don't have any ground or background in our own families. They are the ones that want to use whatever they can use to attract people out of their homes. And yet the owners of the home are not, you know, doing much. So if the man is listening to us, that is number one priority. You might think that it doesn't matter, it's just a small thing, but it is something that is priority for a woman like that. Should you want to add one or two things to that?
I think it's very simple. Let her sit down one-on-one with her husband, not in anger,
Defiance.
not in comparison.
Yes.
Yes, in love, talk about it. God, it's your husband. He's the one that chased you and found you in the first place.
Yes.
Ask it, tell him that I feel bad. You don't have any pet name for me. Doesn't mean I'm not. Just express yourself one-on-one with him. You'll be surprised that he might find it funny. I might. So, oh, are you offended? Yes. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. And he will choose a pet name. Maybe he will call you the one you don't like. He said, I don't like this one. And people can walk through it. You know, sometimes very little things can cause major problems.
Little, yes.
Very little. But the real reason why they cause major problems is that we look at them as little and we don't have a conversation about them. If it's bothering that sister, she should have a conversation with her husband.
Yeah.
Not even a third person. Two of them. She should tell him how she feels about it. And you'll be very surprised. He will change that attitude. Now, if he doesn't change the attitude, then maybe one person can come in, like a friend like Tete, can come in as man to man and let him know that what he's doing is offensive. Because invariably she's interpreting it to mean that these people are endeared to him, but that she is not dear to him. So let's take it one step at a time. Let her have a conversation. If she doesn't succeed, then let there be a man-to-man talk.
Sure.
With him. I'm sure there'll be a change.
It's something that is simple. I actually have a friend who calls the wife Mama Ejima. So, and when he calls Mama Ejima, the way the woman will just look at him, he's like, so one day, I said, in this current 21st century, you are calling your wife Mama Ejima. That's it. By the time I finished talking to him, he found a good pet name for the wife, or by himself.
So it can actually be a man-to-man talk that we
yes,
here.
Even Tete can do that. But like she said, present it to your husband. He's the one that chased you. He's the one that used some very wonderful names and scenario and all those things to sweep you off the ground. So you should be able to talk to him, not in a confrontative way, but in a moment of closeness and all that, and that will be sorted. I'm sure you will let us know that this.
The other thing will be, I hope she has a pet name for him.
Yes, she does. That's what she said. She does. She has a pet name for him, but he's not having anyone for her. And I hope your own name is not Papa Ejima anyway. But I mean, Papa Ejima is Papa Twin. That is the father of twins. For those who don't know what the Ejima is. Okay, so I think we have come to this point where we need to summarize and end it up. Like we said when we started, this is going to be the last of the Fridays in this season 1 of Zoom Talks. We're going to take some time again, replan, re-strategize, and we'll roll out again. And we want you, then we'll come to season 2, to be able to invite your friends. We are doing an expansion and enlargement that will help us to be able to reach out to more people. Remember that what we are saying is that we want to build our relationships. As we listen, as we talk, as we hear ourselves, as we hear others, we are building our relationships, we are building our marriages, and good marriages build good families. Good families build good citizens. Because the children of the family, we ourselves are the citizens of wherever we found ourselves. So good families build good citizens, and good citizens build good societies and good nations. That is the target. This thing we are talking about, good nation or good society, will not happen except the family begins to build on relationships, and relationships build on families, and families build on their citizens, which are the children of the family and all that. So this is what we are targeting. And by the time we come into season 2, we'll be able to let you know, and then the season will start. Meanwhile, we want you to take time to also assess what we've done. Visit our blog. We have a blog, and it's familycolorsblog.blogspot.com. familycolorsblog.blogspot.com. And today, to be able to look at what Margaret was talking about, we have talked about several questions. We answered several questions, but the one that Margaret talked about, asked, was the issue of families and the accounting. And what we said is that joint account is good, joint accounting is even better. Joint accounting is when you apply accountability to your spending, to your earning, to all the things that you are doing with respect to money within the home. And we said that one benchmark that should guide us is that in our family, God looks at us as one, and he wants to bless us. If we are in unity, like Psalm 133 says, that when people are in unity, there the Lord commands his blessing. He looks for where unity is and commands his blessing. When he's commanding his blessing, he can bless from the left side, maybe the woman, or from the right side, maybe the man. And his interest is to bless the family. Now, if you don't have a good system that can take that blessing and make it to really work for every person in that family, you lose out on the blessings of that, on the beauty of that blessing. And that's why it's important for us to do real joint accounting, bring accountability. When we are earning, we need to discuss and agree on what we should earn, how we should move ourselves to earn. Is one person working, or are the two persons working? What kind of work are we going to do? Do we apply multiple streams of income and all that? How do we do that? And when we decide on that, the spending should also be accountable. We said that apart from the fact of, telling your spouse what you are doing, that you should have a benchmark. If you want to set up a joint account, the people that joined late actually missed quite a lot, because we had a very good case that Nduka presented to us, which we used, a live example, which we used to discuss. And that's the fact that we arrived at the fact that you need to have a benchmark if you are setting up a joint statement. And that you also need to have a kind of allowance or space for yourselves. And these discussions should start before you set it up. And we said that why it is good is that you don't want the man, when he wants to buy a tie, he will sign, Chima, what did you call it? You said memorandum of understanding to be able to buy a tie. There should be a space, a latitude to operate by the two people. And they should have a discussion, a conversation on what they can do in terms of spending, so that it's not that when somebody is trying to do what is good, that we even benefit two of them, the other person is calling him, what is happening? I'm hearing a lot. That one will make the whole process not to work very well. But having said that, we said that the ultimate is that we should push towards money not having a name in our family. When money ceases to have a name, my money, that is when we are getting towards it. In other words, that we can be moving together, and your wife can open your wallet and take out 5,000 and use to pay for something. Or you can search inside, I have this kind of hand, when I position this, my hand very well, like this, it is to search. That once I position it, is to search my wife's bag, collect some money there. And it is possible because people are living like that. And you can collect money from your wife and pay for something. And that money has no name. It's possible to work to reach that point. But we are saying that it's not something that just happens in a day, because you came from different families where you have parents who are living and that they nurtured you with different standards. And so when you come to your own, you need to work out your standard. You need to build trust. You need to earn the trust. You need to work together to be able to build yourself to the point where money loses a name in that family of yours. Okay? Maybe you want to add one thing.
You've done a good capture. And I know that money matters is one major issue of crisis in marriages.
Sure.
And I'm not taking it for granted. But believe you me, it is something that if you're able to master, you find out that it's almost foolishness, having issues over finances.
Yes.
And when you realize that also that I can't be loaded and my spouse is saying that he's broke or she's broke and is actually having sleepless nights over it. That is not marriage. That might be a partnership of a sort, but that is not marital, a marriage as God desired it. So, but like we said, let's work together towards it. Let's have discussions about it as couples, and let's forge ahead with what works for us, and let God command his blessing in the place of our unity.
So we want to thank you for being a part of our season 1. Watch out for season 2, and please bring people, bring families, bring people you are engaged to. I know there are quite a lot of young people there. You can pass on the link. Once season 2 comes in, pass on the link to somebody else and let the person come. Through this, we'll be able to build great people, great families, great societies, great nation, and we will do that. Please, you can follow us, Family Colors, on Facebook. Try as much as possible, get to Facebook, search for Family Colors Group, and request to be a member of that. You can actually post things there, and you also be receiving postings from us on regular basis, almost on daily basis. We have postings. There are things that will help you. Visit our blog, familycolorsblog.blogspot.com. Visit that blog almost on daily basis. We also have postings there, things that will build you up. Remember, a good relationship, a good family is not found, it's not discovered, it's not fated, it's not decreed or commanded. It is built. And once you see a green grass somewhere, somebody is watering it. So why don't you water yours and make it a great distance? I saw Gift's hand. I will say, if you have a comment, you may have just half a minute to make that comment. Gift, it's because I know you are with some people. It's not just you are with some people. But if you are not making any comment, that's all right. I want to thank every one of you for being a part of this. Let's look out for season 2. Thank you so much.
I want to plead with you to help change the narrative.
Yes.
Marriage is a good institution. Marriage is sweet. Change the narrative. Don't listen. Walk at your own. Like he said, when you see the grass is green on the other side, somebody is watering it.
Yeah.
And I want to challenge you to water your marriage. Sit down with your spouse. Have a heart-to-heart talk. How we can oil this relationship and move it forward. Don't listen to the negative narrative. There is a positive narrative. God bless.
For those who are not married, I know quite a lot of people here may not be married. Don't listen to what people tell you, because they give you all the lectures, but they may not, have any local standing to give that kind of lecture. Just focus on your heart and focus on God, that you are going to have a wonderful marriage, and you will. Thank you so much. Let's say a word of prayer. Father, we thank you for this season 1. We pray for everyone listening, everyone that participated, Lord, that you make their family a 5-star family. For those who are not yet married, prepare them and position them to form a 5-star family. Thank you for everyone. Let your blessings be released on everyone listening to us, on everyone that has listened to us. For in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. God bless every one of you. God bless you all.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Docs.